So I found a video similar to the one I did yesterday about how PC gaming isn't really gaming. This is Jermel Daise, and I hope I said that right. This is Jermel Daise saying that the PC platform isn't really a gaming platform or isn't really the master race. It's fairly similar to the video I did yesterday, but generally it's different. It's got different arguments, and therefore I will have different arguments as well, but it's going to have fairly the same premise. But in any event, I hope you guys like the video, and hope you give me criticisms, because I'm always open to criticisms. If I'm wrong, please tell me something. Anyway, let's get on with it.
Okay, so right now we're going to go and look into this PC gaming garbage.
So already we're starting the video off with an obvious disdain of PC and the rejection of the idea that it's used for gaming, which is, well, that's kind of ignorance, but whatever.
They keep saying they're the master race. Well, let's see how true that really is.
It's satire. It's a joke. It comes from a video Yahtzee did on a review for The Witcher 3. It's a joke.
Right now we have Xbox One games, all physical copies. You walk out of the store with it, you own it. Every single game. You own it. You could put it in a Christmas tree basket. You could do whatever you want to do. Who has baskets? I don't know. It's an expression that doesn't work here.
I have a basket. It's called an Easter basket.
But whatever. You know what I'm saying. You could put it in a box, you could gift it, you could put it in a bag, you could give it to whoever you want. It's a physical product that you own for life. Online, offline, doesn't matter.
It does if you want to play online with other people. And you're willing to pay that $60 a year.
You're owning 90% of all of these games. Yeah, sure. A couple of manufacturers are cocksuckers and they make you play online only, but the vast majority of games are physical releases that you walk away with and you will have for decades.
So first it was for life, and now it's for decades. Which one is it, man? Now, before he goes any further, I just want to make it clear that on Steam, you technically don't own the game. Technically, you own the digital rights to the game, but this is the same case for Xbox, right? If you get banned or console banned and you can't play your games on your console, then you can't play those games anymore, can you? If your Xbox Live accounts gets terminated or banned for any reason, then you cannot use those games with the same account online. So it works the same way for consoles, just in a different respect. Now, on Steam, unless you're doing something like if you're scamming or even scamming, you don't get banned from using your games, you just get banned from the community. For temporary, by the way. There's really no way, except if you're cheating, you can get banned on all the games that are back secured online. But other than that, um, there's no way really for Steam to restrict you from playing your games. You are absolutely free to play your games whenever you want, however you want. Modding, offline modding, online modding, it doesn't matter. You can play your games however you want to play them, and you will not be punished at all for it. There's no real regulations other than don't cheat. So it feels like you own it, and that's what matters.
Okay, now let's flip that script and let's go straight to PC games.
I can see you've already done research on this topic. You've already searched it up. Good job.
Let's see what it is really all about. If I really wanted to make the switch today, most of this stuff would be disc not included, online only, and you'd need a Steam account and you'd have to have internet connection because in the 21st century, that's a must.
If you go to newegg.com and you go to PC games down in the PC games section, you can find a lot of disc versions of games that don't require Steam. They do, however, require a CD key that can be revoked at any time, and you can give it to your friend and they can use it. But other than that, yeah. And there's a lot of ways to get disc games on PC. You're just really, you don't, a lot, and even on Google Shopping or wherever the hell you are, Amazon, you can still use those disc copies. Many of them are CD keys, so you can just use the CD key, then revoke it when you want to give it to a friend, and then they can revoke it, give it back to you. Those are physical copies, and you own those games. There's no DRM restricting you for those games, except for the CD key, but even that can be easily revoked in the program files. But again, I don't see you playing on PC very much, so you wouldn't know that.
Not even taking into consideration that if you live in a densely populated area and your ley lines or your, nodes are overstressed, the manufacturers or the service providers can deny service to internet, so you won't even be able to use a PC. But they don't care. You'll just have to be without, because obviously you can just go to a library or a Starbucks and game in there. Because I see guys doing that all the time, and it's sad to watch when they could just get a fucking console and just game normally. But I digress.
It's really hard to find a place to stop the video when you're talking that fast. So slow down there, cowboy. So you said game normally on a console. Well, you can game normally on a PC as well. Again, that is also a PC gaming platform, or it's a gaming platform on the PC. I mean, it's not like you're gaming abnormally on the PC. It's not a weird way to game. A lot of people game on the PC, and it does offer you insane benefits that the console does not. For example, higher frame rates, better graphics, and more control. You've got modding capability. You've got free online. These are things that the PC does better than the console does, and the console, according to you, is meant for gaming. So how can the PC, something that's according to you not meant for gaming, be better than something that isn't, that is meant for gaming? Because it seems to me that the PC is a growing platform of gaming that people like you are rejecting, which also hurts the community and the potential growth of the community. The fact that you're ignorant to the fact that you can actually play games on the PC, not even being hindered by a single corporation or a single company at all. Like, even Valve stays out of your business while you're using their platform. Like, that's an awesome benefit. And if you don't like DRM, use GOG. There are options we have that you just don't. Speaking of being a better gaming platform, well, we have more games to choose from and more genres of games to even think about playing. We've got RPGs, we've got MOBAs, but I'll get more in detail with that when you actually mention PC games versus console games.
So all this stuff is just not physical. It's handful of it. You might find it digital, but I mean physical, but it's a garbage release that nobody wants, that nobody's playing.
I'm sure that's a stereotype that you've been misinformed with. If you actually did your research, you would actually find CD key versions of games requiring no DRM except for the protection, the piracy protection of the game. Because obviously, oh, there's so many pirates on PC. Well, not really. Developers should probably realize this, although I do get their concern for piracy. I get it, but whatever. You can get CD key versions of games requiring no DRM service.
New games, you're missing out on literally nearly all of them until the developers decide, well, we're tired of making you wait for it. We're just going to cough it out for you. Here you go. Here's the sloppy seconds from the console guys. Enjoy that trash.
GTA 5 came out after the next-gen console release, about a year apart. Anyway, the PC version came out with a first-person mode. The console version did not. The PC version came out with extra shaders, more anti-aliasing, better graphic options, better aiming modules, better online, etc. The console did not. You had to pay online to be on the console. On the PC, you do not. Now let's go to Fallout 4, a rather disappointing game, however it still proves my point. It came out for the consoles first, correct? That one had shitty graphics, didn't have the best graphics at all. Then when it came out for PC, it had beautiful, stunning graphics, absolutely gorgeous. Not only that, but it was ironically optimized better for the PC. We could actually get 60 FPS in every area, whereas on console you got 23 FPS standing in a hallway, a closed hallway. Now, I'm a 30 FPS gamer, and I still can't believe you guys played at 23 FPS, sub 20 FPS even, and in hallways, in closed hallways during gunfights. How can you live with that? Now, obviously, you're not even looking on the other side of the spectrum here. You're not getting a ton of games from us either. You're not getting RTSs. You're not getting MMOs. You're not getting MOBAs. You're not getting TBSs. You're not getting a lot of the action adventure games we have. Platforming. You don't. I don't believe you have Portal. If you do, then the mouse and keyboard is better because it allows you to aim more accurately while you're flying in the air, needing to time your movements. Anyway, I wouldn't call them sloppy seconds. I would call them perhaps the better seconds. You get the chicken scraps, and I get a feast.
Okay, so in the game department, it's really sparse, and even finding anything that I would remotely play is difficult.
Choosing between the vast ocean of games we have on the PC can be difficult. I would get that. I also understand that you don't want to play all the different genres of games we have on the PC. That's fine too. So let's go just specifically to FPS and TPS and action adventure. Okay? There's Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider. There's Arma 3, Titanfall 2, Fear 3, those, and all the Fear series actually. They've got a really good storyline. It's a pretty good horror game as well. Crisis, the entire series, that's got a good storyline too. Siege, Rainbow Six Siege, that's also on the PC and it has really beautiful graphics. As long as you look past the fact that Ubisoft downgraded it again because of consoles. Anyway, the Far Cry series has a great storyline, especially the last two. I would say the second one, though, is my favorite. Rising Storm is a multiplayer game. Came out in 2013, 2014, something like that, and it's got the realism factor sort of thing that you might like. There's Doom, obviously, beautiful graphics on the PC. Half-Life and Half-Life 2 both have astonishing campaigns. I mean, they're really old games, but I mean, if you haven't played them yet, you really should. And speaking of which, I should. Then there's Stalker, which is another great series. If you like Fallout, then you'll like Stalker as well. You could play Verdun. That's a trench wars game, multiplayer mainly. And another game coming to us later is Escape from Tarkov. That's going to be another hardcore survival FPS game that I'm sure you'd like to play. Again, there are a lot of FPS games on the PC. It's just we have a lot more of a variety of different FPSs because on the PC there's different subcategories of FPS. There's sci-fi FPS, there's modern FPS, there's TPS FPS, like where you can switch, like in Arma 3. There's military simulators, there's action adventure FPSs, there's horror FPSs, there's classic FPSs like CSGO. I mean, you've got a lot of games to choose from in every genre. Games you can't even play on the console. And again, if you want to give another genre a try, for example, like XCOM or a tower defense game, if you want to go down that road, I mean, you got to have an open mind, man. That's what gaming is all about. Playing all sorts of different games, indie games, tower defense, role-playing games, MMOs, RTSs, turn-based strategies. You've got all these different games on the PC, and you're ridiculing us for not being a true gaming platform, even though we have way more games than you do. Doesn't that seem a little ironic to you?
Right?
Right?
Not to mention you're missing a lot of the exclusives.
Oh, don't get me started about exclusives, buddy. If you want to know who's missing out on exclusives, you might want to look at yourself, buddy. This is not a war you want to fight,
Okay, so let's take the price into consideration, right?
right?
Okay, well, Xbox One right here is $251. Amazing.
Fantastic.
266, 251. So again, prices very nice on the console side. Let's go into the PS4. Let's see what the PS4 has to offer, right?
Right?
We're just gonna look up, see what we can get for a PS4. Amazing. $249.
$1 cheaper than the Xbox.
I could buy a console, walk away with it, physical product in hand, game, accessory, everything, HDMI cable. I'm good to go. You guys got to buy HDMI cables.
For a whopping $5, yes. Or you can buy a pre-build.
Amazing.
Yes, it's great being able to choose the size of your HDMI cable on PC. Do keep in mind that if you on a console need a longer HDMI cable than the one that you're provided, guess what? You have to get up off your ass and buy one as well. So that's not a problem just on the PC. If you need to get up and buy something, that's not an exclusive problem on the PC. That's a problem for console as well.
Now, let's move on to your PC, your gaming PCs. Let's see what happens when I look up a gaming PC. First, you got to get your monitor, right? To get a solid one, you're going to have to spend $729.
Holy shit, you know nothing. You know absolutely nothing. You know not a single goddamn dime worth of anything. Look, on the PC, you don't need to spend a shit ton of money. Look down. Just do it. Look down.
Before you can even come close to even the 4K resolution that we get.
Actually, you don't get 4K resolution. Xbox Scorpio, not gonna hit 4K. PS4, not hitting 4K.
And even then, it's not actually 4K.
Did you correct yourself on your console statement, or did you try to put down the monitor as well? Because that monitor is 4K. Is it upscaled? No, I believe that is native 4K.
So that's for like one of the top of the line models that you could possibly buy.
Possibly, yes, but you do not need to mandatorily buy it.
But most people won't be looking at that. They'll be looking at these deal garbage bucket monitors. Most of you, not all of you will admit this, but most of you are, the $170 range. Okay.
See, I find it funny that when you're comparing prices, PC prices and console prices, what you end up doing right here is ridiculing people for buying cheaper monitors. Literally, this is what you are doing. You're saying you cannot get cheap monitors, but you have to spend $700 to get a decent monitor. You have no clue what you're talking about. And when we bring up like cheaper options that you can choose from on the PC, you're ridiculing us for choosing those options. Really? Should I ridicule you for choosing the $250 option over the $450 option on the PC? No, I'm not going to do that. I don't give a shit about your wallet. You shouldn't give a shit about ours either. Holy fuck, man. Again, you can't compare prices and completely neglect the cheap options on PC when you go in and you're like, oh, there's $250 for a console, but oh, you gotta spend really high money on a PC. That is literally what you're doing here. You're ridiculing people on the PC for choosing the cheaper options while you yourself are choosing the quote-unquote cheaper option according to you. This is what logical people call a double standard.
So at this point, you're paying for your PC and you're paying for your monitor, which can only be used for one general purpose, as it's for a fucking computer.
You don't know anything about anything. You can use a monitor on a console, you know that? I mean, they use the same cable, HDMI, VGA. You can get an adapter if you need to. But, I mean, you're literally talking out of your asshole here. I don't even think you have a brain in this video. Look it, alright? You can use a monitor for a console. And to be honest, I feel like a console used with a monitor is better than a console used with a TV. First of all, resolution looks better, like the 720p that you get on a console looks better on a smaller screen than it does stretched out to a big screen. And second of all, TVs have larger input lag than monitors do usually. So you can get a 5ms input lag monitor, hook it up to your console, and you'll be playing better than many people on your team or on the opponent's team. Like, I swear to God, I take back my statement on you doing research. You've done nothing for this video at all.
But okay, I digress.
No, you don't digress, you're just wrong.
Let's look at the actual gaming PCs, as I said earlier.
Keep in mind that you're looking at pre-builds. You are not looking at parts to build it, and many PC gamers would recommend that you build your PC, or at least find out how to build a PC and then build your PC, because it is usually cheaper than buying one. The only reason we bring up pre-builds is for people who are truly lazy and truly do not want to figure out what is and is not in a computer and how your computer works. For those people that just don't give a shit, then they can buy a pre-build. I mean, it's their money if they want to spend it.
Right?
Right?
Let's see if I'm being unfair about this.
You kind of are if you're looking at pre-builds, man.
Gee, I don't know, man. 769, 704, 639. Oh, 146, that looks great. Nope, that's just a fucking cooling case. 324, I guess, but I would probably get the shittiest graphics because everybody hates it, apparently, because 25 reviews and it's at 2.5 stars. Crap.
This is what happens when you don't look at the parts inside. You go off of reviews and not hardware.
Okay, so what do I have? A Dell Inspiron? Well, I know that shit because I used to have one.
Oh, really? He's talking about this one here. Well, let me go into Amazon and search up this little laptop here. So it took a little bit of digging, but I finally found it. I found the exact same one that he showed on his phone, and I found it. So it's a 2016 newest Dell Inspiron 15, and he's, excuse me, he said that the Dell Inspiron sucks because he used to have one. Well, let's see. It says that it's got a premium high performance laptop, and of course the title's going to say that. But this is where your knowledge of technology comes into, okay? So, the AMD A8 7410 quad core is an APU running Radeon R5 graphics. Now, Radeon R5 graphics, as well as the CPU, have been ranked very, very low on Passmark, but still, they're better than most processors, okay? So this one obviously isn't going to game at 60 FPS, 1080p, high graphics, but it's going to game at 60 FPS plus, low graphics, and maybe 720p. But again, if you get a console-priced computer, especially a pre-build like this laptop, again, this should technically, if you build this yourself, it would be $250. Like buy the case, buy the APU, and buy the RAM. You could get it for much cheaper if you built it yourself, but of course you're looking at pre-builds, so take that with a grain of salt. However, you can see that it's got one USB 3 port. It's got, I believe, what is this? It's got an HDMI port, it's got a LED backlit display, Wi-Fi built in, DVD, optical drive on the right hand side. So it's got basically what a computer needs. Well, as, you know, being a computer. But for example, you don't need the optical drives, so you could take that off and bam, that's $20 off if you built it yourself, obviously. But see, you just need to look at this and take it with a grain of salt because, of course, it's going to be manufacturing costs tacked on, so it's going to be more expensive than if you built it yourself. It's going to have another extra cost for being a laptop, and it's also going to be said that it's high performance because my computer said it was high performance, but but that did not mean it had high graphic fidelity. So, I mean, you know, it is what it is. But at least it can run Windows 10 better than my computer can, because my computer came with Windows 8, optimized for Windows 8, doesn't run Windows 10 very well. So you have to take that better too. So if you buy this, it's going to be better than my laptop, obviously, but it's not going to be the best gaming computer. It would be suitable for gaming, yes, but it's not going to be the best gaming computer. Again, you get what you pay for on PC as well as on console. You pay $250, you get $250 worth of gaming, okay? So, and also, by the way, this is technically cheaper because you don't have to pay for online, you pay for cheaper games, and you have 688 free games on Steam to choose from. So, all in all, this one would be practically a cheaper option. Now, I've brought this up all the time, but I go to PCPartPicker.com just for fun and see how good of a computer I can make only for $250, $300. And let me tell you, I've made some really good parts. All you need to do is go on and do a little bit of research, the tiniest bit. Go to Passmark. I mean, if you're going to use that as your only source, then whatever. But use Passmark, use CPU Boss, use different like Linus Tech Tips. Go online, do research, and it's not going to take more than 15 minutes to figure out what a computer does, how it does it, what goes into a PC, how it goes into a PC. I mean, Linus Tech Tips video, I believe, is 16 minutes, and it does very well. He builds a computer in like 15, 16 minutes. Or rather, he shows you how to build a computer in 16 minutes. But again, you're using pre-builds as an example for cost, even though you're quite failing because you fail to realize that we don't have to pay for online. We don't have to pay $60 for every game. We have choices for free games. We have GameJolt.com. We have 688 Steam free games. We have, geez, we got a shit ton of games we can play for $20 or less. I mean, we've got games up the wazoo. You don't. But from a cheaper platform of gaming and a cheaper method to game at, I would expect that. I wouldn't expect high graphics on a $250 piece of plastic. I wouldn't expect high frame rate on a $250 piece of plastic. Also, I wouldn't expect great online if it charged $250 for the plastic and then $60 every fucking year.
So let's keep going. What do we got? Geez, man, this is really hard. It kind of seems like if you're not spending over $1,000, oh, what's that? You're not going to get anything. A GTX 1080 VR ready. Oh, well, doesn't the PS4 Pro do that for $400?
Plus $250 for the console, plus $60 online, plus $60 for the game, plus more for DLC.
Amazing. But this is for $2,000. Oh, I don't know about that.
At Walmart, you can get a $200 GTX 1060, which is capable of running VR at 60 FPS, medium graphics to high, depending on the game. You can also go to other places and get a 1070 for $300 to $400. Now, assuming you have a PC, all you have to do is take that graphics card, put it into your PC, and you now have a gaming PC, minus, of course, the processing power with the CPU, because you can change that out if you want to, but it's not really important, but it could be, I suppose. But like a basic gaming computer, you could take your grandma's computer, put a 1080 in there, and bam, there you go. Gaming computer, 60 FPS, bam. Of course, you'll need the headset, but if you're going to get a console and a VR headset and the game and pay $60 online, then it's practically the same cost. So again, you just need to look at your options. You have no clue how to look at options on the PC because you have no experience with the PC. You don't even seem qualified to even talk about this.
Well, I guess I would get better graphics, right?
For $2,000, hell yeah.
It's totally worth the price. Better graphics, sure. More resolution, sure. I won't own a physical fucking thing ever, and I'll be required to have internet connection.
You know, you really don't know what you're talking about. First of all, get a CD key version of a game. You don't need an internet connection to download that. Secondly, if you buy a disc version of a Steam DRM game, then you won't need a internet connection for that. Also, you can use Steam in offline mode. You don't need to be connected to the internet to play your games on Steam. I mean, you have no clue what you're talking about. I really... And by the way, everyone who sees your video has internet. Okay, just so you know that. Everyone who sees your video does not need to hear that because they have internet. They are able to see your video. They have access to internet. But you have no clue what you're talking about. You didn't know you can use Steam in offline mode. You didn't know those Steam copies of the game on physical format. You don't need internet to download those because they're stored on the disk. You could go to GOG.com and be able to literally own those games without DRM restrictions because they allow you to download your games on whatever computer you want, however many times, and they're cheap games there too. You can literally go to GOG.com, download a game on your friend's computer, and then go out and download a game on your computer. That is literally how it works. I'm sensing a trend with people who don't understand what PC is. When they say that they're against PC, they have no clue what you can do with it. They're ignorant. Many of these people have no clue what they're talking about, especially the ones that spread misinformation about it. Those who have a preference, of course, probably do know everything about PC, but many of them also don't. This is why people like you you guys are vulnerabilities to our community. You guys are straying those people who are potential buyers away from our community, but you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
And they don't optimize games for me.
Could you provide examples? Because I could provide examples of games that aren't optimized for the console at all. Unity is a great one. Also, have you heard of the day one patches on almost every fucking game ever? Lots of day one patches. You can't play your games out of the box on day one. I mean, if that's not optimization on day one, I don't know what is. At least on PC, we have a lot of games that work day one. Civilization 6, all these other games that are exclusive to us, everything.
So I have to wait. It sounds like a good deal. Yeah, let's spend the $2,000. 2.2 thousand. Wow.
Or what you can do is spend money on parts and do your own research and do your smart consumerism and find the cheapest deals on many parts, and you can build a VR-ready computer for less than $600, less than 500 even. I mean, if you want a VR-ready computer, then you can spend $500 because you're going to do that on PS4 anyway because you're going to buy a $400 headset because why not? Again, this is for people who want VR-ready gaming. Other people, there's ways to build a computer for $500 flat and have 60 FPS 1080p gaming all across the board.
So this is what a master race looks like, huh?
Your interpretation of a master race, which by the way, again, is a joke, it's satire, is really, really misled by the fact that everything has to be absolutely perfect and without fault. On the PC, we're not saying that it's without fault. It obviously is. For example, just 5 minutes ago, this right here, Movie Maker, and this has nothing to do with gaming, but Movie Maker, when I tried to adjust something, the video length or whatever of my response picture to 200 seconds, it crashed my entire computer and I had to restart from scratch. This is what I have to deal with for you guys, baby. Alright, anyway. There is no such thing as a perfect platform. There is always going to be a problem. I experience occasional, very minor crashes that all I have to do is reboot the game. But it doesn't take me that long to do so anyway. Looking past the crashes and the occasional glitches, yeah, I would say higher frame rate, higher graphical fidelity, more options, modability, free online, cheaper games, services that align to your preferences and your preferences alone instead of those of the community. I would say that does outweigh all of the cons on PC, and that's why we call it the master race. Not only because of pro-consumerism and choices, but also because of the amount of games and the quality of our experiences on PC as opposed to consoles.
Amazing. I mean, just scoping the game that you guys have. Let's look at your accessories. Fucking glasses and
Oh, fuck off.
pointless backlight strips.
If you're a smart consumer and something is pointless, then why would you buy it?
I mean, fucking cooling fans. My shit's built in. I've never had an overheating issue ever.
Then you've never had an Xbox 360, my friend.
Except for the original Xbox.
And Xbox 360. Are we sensing a trend here, perhaps? Also, keep in mind, what would happen if your original Xbox overheated? What would you be able to do? The only thing you would be able to do is send it in and hope they fix it, and then send it back. But that would obviously leave you without a console. Well, on the PC, if something overheats, all we have to do is switch out a part, and we might have an extra spare part laying around because, upgrades are a thing. We don't just throw away our parts, we keep them safe somewhere, so if we need to downgrade for any reason, then we can. So we probably have spare parts laying around, and this is just generally speaking. PC gamers usually have parts just laying around somewhere. So if something overheats, we're probably hindered, what, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, and then we're able to get on our feet playing again. But you have to wait days, perhaps weeks, to get your console fixed, or you have to buy another one, because that's probably going to be what Microsoft tells you to do, is, oh, we can't fix it, because obviously people who make a console can't fix it, but, whatever. Again, ignoring all the freedom on PC is really helping your case here, buddy.
Okay, I mean, seriously, what are you guys gaining here to make you think that you're some sort of elite master race?
Higher frame rates, better graphics, more games, that's a big one. Cheaper costs, free online, modability, freedom, that's another big one. I mean, again, it's satire, but it's a great way to convey the fact that the PC is a great gaming platform. And if the consoles want to compete other than hiding games behind their fucking contracts, then they need to be able to compete via hardware. Wouldn't that make sense? But no, those companies bitch out behind contracts and just put their games behind their console and hold them hostage, so that's a reason to get a console. They don't boost anything via, hardware. They don't give you higher graphics. No, you buy a game because it has exclusives. A very, very small amount of exclusives. And compared to the PC, a very, very small amount of games in general.
Please don't tell me it's this Steam controller.
No, you ignorant bastard, it's not.
This is sad to watch. I mean, seriously, this is pathetic.
What's pathetic here, friend, is you don't know what you're talking about. You have not a slight clue as to what is in the box on your doorway. You haven't even opened it up. You haven't spent 10 minutes just going through the box, finding out what's in it. No, you just looked at it and said, it looks small. It's probably stupid. It's probably something dumb. And that's what you're doing here. All you're doing is scrolling with your phone on Amazon on different costs of things.
Fucking headphones that glow.
For $25 on the PC, you can get fucking headphones that glow. But on the console, don't you dare insult my $150 Turtle Beaches. I'll beat your ass.
Woohoo. Okay. Well, you're doing a lot there. A lot there, buddy. All right, let's look at PS4 accessories.
Oh, I can't wait to find out what he determines as useful.
Let's see what they got. Let's see what they got going on. Damn, they got organizers.
Not necessary if you have a shelf. Otherwise, pointless.
Charging kits, keyboards.
We already have keyboards on our site, buddy. That's not an advantage for consoles. Oh, by the way, you can't play on those keyboards. They're just chat pads.
Little controller vinyls.
Cosmetics.
Fucking LED charging stations.
Oh, but we have fucking headphones that glow.
Fucking cameras and shit.
We have webcams and screen recorders. What's your point?
Damn, can you clip your smartphone to that?
Seems interesting.
I think you can. Holy shit. You can have your controller play remotely, and you didn't even need a fucking console. Holy shit, you could just fucking... Oh, wow.
Wow, you don't even know anything about the PS4. Dude, you use your phone as a screen and stream to your PS4. Your PS4, it's using PS4 Now or whatever it is. You use a live streaming service, you need internet to use it, but you connect it to your console, you can play it in another room, but you have your phone on top of the controller, and you can stream to your controller, or your console streams to your phone, and you can play games. But you need a console. You need the console to do that. You can't. It's not just a free ride. You need a console.
Somebody's using the fucking TV, you just turn on your PS4 and you're just going, remote play. It's fantastic.
Again, you need a console for that, buddy.
Fantastic. I mean, I could do this all day.
We could do it for longer because we have more accessories, more pointless accessories, and headphones that glow.
I mean, we could just go over to the Xbox accessories and you could see the same fucking concept.
I don't believe they have remote play.
I mean, like, you guys at some point have to wake up and realize that you are a very tiny portion of the gaming community.
Only because assholes like you misrepresent subjects you know nothing about. How fair.
Xbox got fucking remotes and it's the same shit, fans and fucking all this kind of shit. Yeah, they don't need the fans, but they have it anyway. I don't fucking know what you need the fan for.
From that comment, I can tell that you're a Sony pony. Alright, you just said, basically, looked at a pair of $25 glowing headphones and you ridiculed those headphones. You also looked at a fan that someone could be using, and you ridiculed that. I don't know what the fuck you'd use a fan for. But then everything on the PS4, you're like, oh, look at this. You could put your phone on this, when you don't really need to if all you want to do is play on your TV. An organizer kit. Ooh. Even though I have a shelf to put all my things on. A chat pad. Ooh, a keyboard that I can't use to play my games. Something I won't need if I have a microphone. See, this can go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You can't just look at something and say that that's useless, and then go on the PS4 side of things and look down and say, oh, this is all useful. All of this has a good use for it. Gee, applause, applause, applause.
I mean, never had an overheating issue, so I couldn't tell you.
Xbox 360. You would be smart to buy that fan.
Plug and play kits and just all kinds of cool shit, right?
Oh, but those fucking headphones that glow aren't cool.
But then you guys think it's worth mentioning that you guys are these super elitists and we're the PC kings of the. Just shut up. Just stop. You sound so stupid.
It's satire for one, and secondly, is it worth mentioning that you sound stupid by you talking about something you have no fucking clue what it's about? Again, you haven't had the slightest clue about, pre-builds versus building your own computer. Hell, you even said that you didn't need a console for remote play. What makes you think we wouldn't think of you as the smart one? I mean, at least I do research. At least I know shit.
When for $249, you can get 1080p at 60 frames a second, and no PC can fucking do that on planet Earth.
If a PS4 can do it, all we need to do is look inside a PS4 and buy the same parts for a PC. I mean, AMD, the people that make those consoles, they put parts on the market for PC as well. Okay? Secondly, you game 60 FPS, 1080p across all games on the PS4. That's good to know. But you only have a minority of games that you could possibly play. You can't play entire genres of games you might think are fun, actually. But you're closed-minded. You're supporting a company. You are a Sony pony.
We're not even counting the fucking $399 the PS4 Pro is that gives you a terabyte and fucking 4K gaming. No, it might not be native, but upscaled sure is a whole hell of a lot better than what you're able to afford in that price range.
Oh, so it's not native 4K. Okay, well, actually, you can spend $700 and get a native 4K gaming PC, 60 FPS, 1080p. Or you can game at 4K lower than that for, like, if you have $500, you can game at 30 FPS 4K. Also, keep in mind, if you're paying $399, almost $400, for a console that upscales to 4K, then you are going to be playing at lower graphical fidelities. It will not look as good. It may look sharper, yes. There may be more pixels on the screen, yes. But that doesn't mean those graphics are going to be better, right? Your graphics, you're probably not going to have very high anisotropic filtering. You're probably not going to have anti-aliasing. You're probably not going to have texture filtering. And you obviously won't have the option to choose to enable those things. It's going to be optimized, and which means locked, by a developer to a specific set of settings.
I'm just saying, show me any fucking one, just one. I will wait. Show me one PC for $399 that gives you physical games, accessories, optimized games, HDR, VR, and has the ability to upscale to 1440 and then take it even further to 4K. I'd love to see it. I mean, I would be shit. Hats off to you if you can find it. I can make you a guarantee. I can make you a promise you'll never find it. So until you can find something that'll beat just the Pro alone or the PS4 Slim for $249, able to do 1080 at 60 frames a second, 1080 30 frames a second, solid.
1080 30, I can easily beat that for the price of the PS4 Slim.
Vivid, no stutters in the resolution whatsoever.
No stutters in the resolution? What the hell are you talking about? You mean VSync?
Don't come at me like you matter.
Oh shit, we got a badass in the house. Holy fuck.
Stay in your little caves, stay in your little corners where you belong.
Ouch, this is coming from someone who knows nothing about PC.
Enjoy being nothing.
Wow, that ended on a quite insulting note. Holy shit. First of all, your arguments were absolute garbage. I don't know what the hell you were talking about. You didn't even have a single clue as to the options on PC. And in a minute, I'm gonna try and find something that equals or surpasses the PS4 Pro. But first of all, let me comment on the fact that you have an annoyingly condescending attitude, yet you know nothing about what you're talking about. You have no clue how to do research. You have no clue what the options could possibly be on PC. You just don't have the slightest clue. You thought it was fair to compare PC versus console, but use pre-builds as a cost on PC. You also went as far as to say $700 monitors are decent. You have no clue what you're talking about. I don't think anybody should ever take you seriously on a debate like this. You just don't have a single clue. And, excuse me, let me provide you the reason why we call ourselves the master race. We have more games than you do. We hit higher frame rates than you do. We hit higher graphical fidelities than you do. All hardcore gamers go on the PC to game at a better experience than on a console. Sure, it could be spendy, but you get what you pay for. And to be honest, it's not that spendy, spending $500 if you don't have to pay for online or more expensive games. Let me just go online and do my research and build a computer that equals or surpasses the PS4 in terms of cost, performance, resolution, VR capabilities, and has the, what'd you say, fucking, I don't know what the hell you said. I'll go back and figure it out. But I will find a computer that surpasses it. Be right back. After looking at one single article, so there's more, but I found a PC that cost effectively $630.91. Alright, this, of course, is a little bit more expensive than the PS4 Pro, but if you take into consideration you're not going to pay for online, you're going to pay for cheaper games, or you can play one of the 688 Steam games that are free, effectively it is cheaper or about the same price as a PS4 Pro, because if you can buy and support a PS4 Pro, then you are able to buy a homebrew PlayStation 4 Pro, which is effectively a PS4 Pro rig that mimics the PlayStation 4 Pro. So according to GameSpot, where this article was found, link in the description, the homebrew PlayStation 4 Pro, the rig, the computer, uses an AMD 86 to 64-bit AMD 8-core processor, specifically the FX 8350. The GPU is the specific RX 48 Polaris GPU from AMD Radeon series. The RAM is slightly different because the RAM on the PS4 Pro is GDDR5 shared memory. 8 gigabytes DDR3 1600 megahertz memory is practically identical. The hard drive for both sides is 1 terabyte, and the power draw for the homebrew PlayStation 4 Pro is $319 or 319 watts. My bad. So excluding the price of Windows 10, because you can get Windows 7 for much cheaper than Windows 10. It costs around $630. So, with this in mind, let's go down into the article. And I'll just leave the specs here because I've got it on a list on my second monitor here that I'll read to you. Sony vaguely mentions that these 5 games, Shadow of Mordor, Killing Floor 2, ESO, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Deus Ex MD, they vaguely state, not explicitly, but it kinda glosses over that they're going to do 4K. So what GameSpot team did is they went in and they tried those 4 games. So their first preset was 1440p or 2K. And with that, on Shadow of Mordor, at the highest preset, 1440p, SSAA enabled, which is super sampling anti-aliasing. It basically removes all this, the stairs effect that you see in games, which isn't really a big deal, to be honest. But with all that enabled, they got 61.2 average FPS. Running at 4K with all the other settings, highest preset SSAA enabled, they got 33.5 average FPS. So again, mimicking the console, you guys are obviously, as a console player, you guys are obviously used to 30 FPS, so you guys would consider that playable. On the PC, that's not really playable, and personally, I would stick with the 1440p option, or go down to 1080p. But, in any event, those are really good specs, and really good benchmarks there. So, Killing Floor 2, they ran it at 2160p, which is an upscaled from 1440p, sort of, to try to mimic 4K. Because on the PC, Killing Floor 2 does not offer a 4K option apparently, so they used the 2160p. At highest settings, SSAA enabled, they got 32.7 average FPS. Again, this is playable frame rate, and according to console gamers, this is playable frame rate. Elder Scrolls Online, this is also playable frame rate, running at 2160p, highest preset, SSAA enabled, ran at 49.1 FPS. Rise of the Tomb Raider is a very demanding game, and again, they didn't state that Rise of the Tomb Raider was going to run natively at 4K. It would most likely be upscaled because it is a very demanding game, especially with these components. Therefore, but a $1,000 PC can run this natively at 4K 60 FPS easily. Just keep this in mind while we're comparing these two products. Okay. So, the Rise of the Tomb Raider 2160p at the highest settings and SSAA enabled ran at an average of 10.4 FPS. But keep in mind that Sony is not asserting that the PS4 Pro will be able to do 2160 with SSAA enabled, so what they did was they put it to the medium preset, disabled SSAA, and it ran at 33.4 FPS. So, with this in mind, what they did next was they did a method to upscale 1080p 100% to mimic 4K with SSAA times 4 enabled, and they got 33.9 FPS. So, still looking pretty good. 30 FPS is obviously playable. Now, moving on to the most demanding game on this list, which I really don't think that the PS4 Pro is going to run this game natively at 4K, because it can't happen. Because when the GameSpot team did 2160p highest preset SSAA enabled, they got 1.2 frames per second. So again, this game is not going to be ran at 4K natively without major graphical impairments. Okay, so the 2160p, they did another benchmark, 2160p, lowest preset, SSAA disabled, and they got just under 30 FPS, 27.3 to be exact, at an average. It went higher when there was no real enemies around or they looked up in the sky, but basically, generally, it was 27.3, just barely playable. But when they put it to 1440p at very high settings, SSAA disabled, they got 31.3 FPS. And I feel like that game will be ran at 1440p, perhaps upscaled a little bit to mimic 4K, but it is not going to be ran at 4K natively. All in all, this build effectively mimics the PlayStation 4 Pro, and it's $630, which is barely $100 over the PS4 Pro. But again, just keep in mind that you don't have to pay for online, and you don't have to pay $60 for every game, and you don't have to even pay for any games, really, if you choose to go to the free-to-play route. And also, if you're not into 4K, if you're not into playing in 4K, you can play, or if you're not even a graphics person, you can go medium settings or just high settings instead of highest. You can go high settings, 1440p or 1080p, get more than 60 FPS. This is a perfect example of a gaming PC nowadays, alright? And it's very cheap to get. You can get it for even $100 less, and you won't be able to play 4K at all, maybe not even 1440p, but you'd still be able to play 1080p, 60 FPS all across the board. Do I get a treat now? I would be able to let you know of this awesome build, but you disabled comments for your video. So the only thing I can really hope for is you just stumble upon this video and find it, and hopefully you watch through the entire hour almost that I made of this video. But yeah, I hope the viewers of this video were educated too. I mean, if you were looking for a gaming PC, hopefully that helped you a lot. But yeah, I mean 1080p, if you bought that machine and you played 1080p highest, you would get 60 FPS across the board. I mean, that is a perfect example of a gaming PC, especially a starter gaming PC. Not even starter, it's probably more mid-range than anything. But other than that, I really hope this really helped you out. I really hope that the Jermel finds this video. And if anybody can link him to it, that's great. That would be absolutely fantastic. I don't make these videos to talk to myself. Actually, I kind of do, because I'm a loner little bitch, and I need to talk to somebody. because that's who I is. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked the video. Comments are not going to be disabled for this video, so feel free to comment whatever the hell you want down below. And join the Discord. I'm open to talk whenever y'all want. And I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye-bye.